down when you practice devotion. And achalatvam chapeksha, you should not be moving around when you practice devotion, because if you do so physically, then mentally also you'll be going from one thing to the other. The mind will become very more mischievous. So it is best to sit in the best to have the sitting posture with a straight back, and then make a little altar for yourself, of course, with your Ishtadev and your Gurudev's images. They will help you. They will remind you of God and Guru. And take help of Kirtans and Bhajans. Sing those bhajans or listen to them and sing after the lead singer. And use the bhajans and Kirtans to help you to do Roop Dhyan. Roop Dhyan is the main devotion. So early in the morning, the first thing you're doing is you're bringing God into the mind. You're bringing your Gurudev into your heart. And that is Karma Sannyas Sadhana, because you have chosen to move away from all your duties and responsibilities. That is the best thing to do, because the very first thing you've done is devotion. So that will set the pace for the rest of the day. And then after doing the Karma Sannyas Sadhana in this way, with bhajans and kirtans, you are doing Roop Dhyan, and you are struggling with your mind, and it is a struggle. Then after that, when you leave your puja room or that dedicated space you have, then you are involved in your works, your worldly works, your chores. Then you do Karma Yoga Sadhana, which is just a fancy way of saying that while you are engaged in your daily activities, you think about Bhagwan Shri Krishna, you visualize him to be in front of you, with you, and you practice in such a way that you are practicing thinking of him every hour or so. For a moment or two, you are thinking, he is with me, he is not away from me, I'm never alone, and he is right in front of me. You are making your mind accustomed to thinking about Sri Krishna. Devotion means love. You are trying to fall in love with Sri Krishna. And this is the way to fall in love, by doing Karma Sannyas Sadhana and engaging in Karma Yoga Sadhana. Of course, throughout the day, let's say you're at home, then you're playing bhajans and kirtans. So even if you're not fully attentive to those, they are going into your mind, they are going into your subconscious mind. That is a very good thing to do. And then consciously, you should, of course, be doing sadhana, like I said, early in the morning. But if it's not possible to do that early in the morning, then you can choose another time. But early in the morning is suggested by scriptures and saints, because at that time, the mind is relatively not entangled with the world. People are not, your family members are not asking you to do something for them. They're not making any demands on you. And there are very good vibrations in the atmosphere that will help you to think about God and Guru. So this is how you practice devotion at home. And of course, there's so much more to say. In your free moments, when you're just, let's say, sitting down, you practice the Radhe Naam breathing. With every breath that you take, you are chanting, internally chanting Radhe. When you inhale, you are internally saying Ra. As you exhale, you are internally saying Dhe. So with every breath, you are saying Ra, Dhe, Ra, Dhe. It's a lot of work, but that work, that effort you put in will be rewarded very nicely, very handsomely by God and Guru, because Jo tu dhave ek pag to main dhaun saath. God promises us that if we take one tiny step towards him, he will meet us. He will run 60 steps to meet us. So if we take one tiny step towards him, he will take 60 steps to meet us. And so that is a little bit about how to do devotion at home. What is Mahan and what is Ahankar in the chain further up after 5 basic elements? So you have Prithvi, Jal, Tej, Vayu, Akash. Mahan is the collective consciousness, and Ahankar is the ego. What is the aim of life? If it's God realization, then why do we get engaged in worldly affairs? The aim of life is very simple. Some people say, what is the aim of life? It's a big mystery. In fact, it is not a mystery at all. Scriptures tell us very clearly, and through our Guru's grace, we learn that the aim of life is the same for everyone, and that is to attain God realization. Nothing less than that. So the aim of life is to attain God. And if that is the case, then why are we engaged in worldly affairs? Well, because we have a body, so we need the world, we need money, we need to work. Most people, they work for a living, they earn money, there's a mortgage to pay, there are payments to be made, there's grocery bills, there's electricity bills, and because you have a body, then you need to have a job, you need to make money, but that is not to say that you become entangled in those worldly affairs, because the whole point is to distinguish between body and soul. This is my body and this is who I am, this is the soul. For the body, I need the world. For the sake of the body, I need a job, I need money, I need this, I need that, I need shelter, clothing, I need a vehicle, I need so much for the sake of my body. But I will do my duty. Because I have a body and I have a family, I will do my duty, but I will do that physically. And I will reserve my mind for God and Guru. So being involved with worldly affairs and being attached to them is two different things. You have to be involved in cooking, cleaning, working. You have to do so much, but that does not mean you become entangled with the world. Sri Krishna says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. Arjun, fight the battle, that is your duty, but keep the mind engaged in my loving thoughts. Think of me at all times. And that is the instruction, not only for Arjun, but for everyone, for each and every one of us. To do the work for your family, work for the company you work for the sake of the body. But for the sake of the soul, keep your mind involved only with God. And next question. We know that we live in Mrityulok, but when someone dies, we get shocked. Why? Yes, we live in Mrityulok. That means it's a temporary, it's for a limited amount of time we are here, and this abode is called Mrityulok. That Mrityulok really means material abode. That Mrityu does not mean death, by the way. That Mrityu means Maya, Mrityulok. Yes, so we are here, and we are here for a limited time, but when someone dies, we are shocked. We are shocked only when the people we are attached to die. So many people die in the world. We are not shocked. We don't care. But when someone who is dear to us passes away, then we feel the shock. He was too young, and she shouldn't have died at this time. She was so healthy. We become shocked, but we should not, because Maharajji was saying earlier that there is an expression in English which is to be dead sure of something, which means I am as sure of what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying to you, and I'm as sure of this as I am sure that death will come one day. So death will come one day. Whoever takes birth will have to die. But we are in denial. We think, no, I don't want to think about that, and I will not accept it. We have to accept it, but we become shocked because of our attachment to people. There are so many other people who die, and we don't know them, and we may say, oh, poor thing, and he had a son who has special needs, and now what will happen to that son? What would happen to that child? But then we go on with our lives. But when someone is dear to us, when we are attached to someone, And we feel the shock, we feel the grief, and that is because of our attachments. Does every Brahmand has the same yug as we have? Well, in this Brahmand of ours, we are in Kali Yuga, and there are uncountable Brahmand, countless universes. So it is not, it's not that in every Brahmand there is Kali Yuga. I'm sure in countless Brahmands, Kali Yuga is going on, but in countless Brahmands there's Satyug and Treta Yuga going on, in countless Brahmands there's Dwapar Yuga going on. So, because there are uncountable Brahmans, and each one of them has a different Yuga going on. And because there are countless, so many of them will be in Satyug, so many will be in Treta, so many will be in Dwapar, and so many will be like us, Kali Yuga. Maharaj says, apne ko tinke se bhi neecha mano, but we see that's not how people behave. Everyone thinks highly of themselves and put down others. Why? Maharaj says, apne ko tinke se bhi neecha mano. Think yourself to be more humble than a blade of grass. And this is what Gauranga Mahaprabhu has said. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna. Trinadapi sunichena, be more humble than a blade of grass. When you walk, let's say you're walking on a lawn, so you're walking on grass, and that blade of grass is so small, it's so frail, and you put your whole weight on it, and yet the blade of grass does not retaliate, it bends down even further. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu observed this and said, oh, we should be more humble, a devotee should be more humble than a blade of grass. Now, this is how we should be, but we see that's not how people behave. However, we should not be concerned with how people behave. We have to look at how we behave. Am I more humble than a blade of grass? No, I'm not even as humble as a blade of grass. I'm nowhere near as humble as a blade of grass. I'm not humble at all. So we should say rather, I think highly of myself and I put down others. Why? Why do we do this? Because of our pride, because of thinking I am better than everyone else. I am really good. I have more devotion than others. I can do this better than anyone else. We have this false pride. Our mind tells us that we are really good. You are good. You are really good. You're amazing. And if there's anyone better than you, that is God. God is number one, you are number two. That's it. Our mind tells us this. We become proud in very small matters, very small matters. And I read a joke somewhere, and I thought it was really appropriate in this context, that there was a prisoner. He was arrested for petty theft. So he was sent to jail for a few months. And when he was locked in his cell, there were 3 others in there. And they asked him, how long are you here for? And he said, a few months. And they all laughed. I said, oh, we are here for years. You take the bunk closest to the door, to the cell door. Because we are here for years, and you're only here for months. In other words, they are proud that they are incarcerated for a longer period of time. It's nothing to be proud of, but they're proud of that. So we become proud of no reason, for no reason at all. And Shri Maharaji, Jagatguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj used to tell us a story of a fictional story of a man who really had no money, and as soon as he was born, his parents died. He grew up on the streets, and there was no one who loved him, and he didn't have the looks, he didn't have the knowledge, he didn't have an education, he had no money, no friends, nothing. So he complained to Sri Krishna and said, Bhagwan, you have not given me anything to live on. A person has something or the other that encourages him to go on living, but you gave me nothing. And Sri Krishna said, oh, and Sri Krishna said to his treasurer, give this man something. Oh, what shall I give him, Maharaj? Give him a royal attitude. A royal attitude. And the man is very happy. And now he goes around saying, boasting, like, I am going to marry the princess. I'm going to marry a beautiful princess, you will see. And you will see that I will build a palace, the likes of which no one has ever built. You will see. And he goes around boasting. Now he's worse off than before. And who is this man? Sri Maharaj said, that's all of you. This man is all of us. We have no reason to be proud, but we become very, very proud. And like I said, in small things, like I can make a bed like nobody else. You should see the way I tuck in the bed sheets. You see how I clean a room. Oh my goodness, I'm the queen of clean. I'm the king of clean. And I do this so, oh my goodness, I am so good at this. And I'm such an expert. And I'm better than you. This is what we think. We can't really say it all the time. Like, hey, I'm better than you. It would look bad, but we're thinking this. So why do we do that? It's because of our ego, our pride. So why aren't we so humble? Because we are proud, that's it. That we have not done enough devotion. Because when we do devotion, when we practice devotion, then one of the byproducts of devotion is humility. दीनता तो अपने आप आती है. अगर हम भक्ति ठीक करते हैं तो दीनता आती है. And that's how we can actually judge ourselves. If we become really truthful to ourselves, how humble am I? Well, I'm not humble at all. That means I'm just fooling myself. I think I've been doing devotion for years and years, and yet I'm not even humble, so I'm not really doing devotion. One of the byproducts of devotional practice is humility. Humility. And so the scriptures tell us to be one way. Saints, our Gurudev tells us to be one way, but we are totally another. And that is because of our pride. And the pride is there because we have not done devotion properly. We have not done enough devotion. How can such deenta really be attained? Is it even possible to be more humble than a blade of grass, or is it just an exaggeration? If a worldly person had said it, it would have been an exaggeration. Do you really think you can be more humble than a blade of grass? Come on. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu is saying this. Jagat Guru Uttam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj is saying this. And I have to say that looking at Shri Maharaj himself, you could see that he was the personification of humility. He was a Jagat Guru Uttam, the best of all Jagat Gurus who have graced this world in Kali Yuga. And yet he was so humble, so humble. And he would ask a question, so do you like my lecture or do you like your Didi's lecture? And some poor soul, uninformed soul would say, I like Didi's lecture. And Maharaji would have such a great laugh. He wouldn't chastise that person, you fool. I'm asking you if you like her lecture or mine. She has only a little bit of knowledge that I have given her. And you're saying you like her lecture more? No, Maharaji had no ego, nothing. It was amazing to see that he would make fun of himself. He would have a very self-deprecating sense of humor. And Maharaji would make so many jokes at his own expense. He never threw his weight around that I am the Jagat Guru Uttam. There would be sometimes very few people around him, and Sri Maharaji would be giving a lecture. No demands as to how many people there should be before I start lecturing. There would be 30 of us, sometimes 20 of us, and Maharaji is lecturing. So I have seen that humility in Sri Maharaji. Many of you have seen that. And so it is possible. And we should not say, well, he was who he was, but we can also, if we follow the instructions, we can become humble, no doubt. But it takes a lot of introspection, and it's very uncomfortable because it's very uncomfortable to think I'm not perfect. It feels very uncomfortable to think that I have so many faults. It is uncomfortable, but we must look at ourselves. We must do introspection. We must look at ourselves in the true light that I need to make all these improvements. And by working on our faults, we can certainly reach there where we can become, where we will become more humble than a blade of grass. It's not an exaggeration. It seems like that now, but it really is not. Just like it seems like, this seems like an exaggeration too, that we think of God 24 hours a day. Come on, 24 hours a day. It seems to be an exaggeration, but it is not, because Sri Krishna has said it. He has said, the Lord has said, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord, has said, think of me all the time, 24 hours a day. And scriptures have said too, in the scriptures, many scriptures, he has said the same thing, that your mind stream should flow continually towards the lotus feet of God. So it's not an exaggeration. There are countless souls who achieved that success, and so we can also. There are countless who became so humble, and we know some stories of Sant Eknath. A man started spitting on him. Sant Eknath did not say anything. He just kept returning to bathe in the river Ganga, and he was spat upon many, many times by the same man, but he did not take offense. And when the man asked, why aren't you fighting with me? Why aren't you beating me? Sant Eknath said, I'm grateful to you because every day I bathe in the holy waters of the Ganga only once, but because of you, I bathed in it so many times today. That is humility. So it can be achieved. Sant Eknath achieved it. There are many such examples of saints. We call them saints now because they reached that and they became very, very humble. Lord Buddha, where he was enacting the part of a guru, a saint, a man came to him one day and started abusing him verbally. He wanted to test Lord Buddha. And so Lord Buddha just remained as he was, and he was smiling, he kept smiling, he kept meditating, and the man got tired of abusing Buddha verbally. And Lord Buddha then noticed that this man has been expending so much energy, and he said to his followers, give this man something to eat and drink. His throat must be parched, and he must be hungry because he has been spending so much energy. And the man asked, are you not offended? And Lord Buddha said, no, I'm not. Why not? Because you gave me the gift of abusive language, abusive words, but I had no need for that gift, so I did not accept your gift. That's humility. And so we can also reach that stage if we put in the effort. There's no magic formula, of course. We must put in the effort. I would like to know more about Jagai and Madhai and how they attained God. I can share with you what little I know about them. I would not be able to tell you their family history or anything, but I don't think you want that. Jagai and Madhai were two cousin brothers, and they were from a Brahmin family, but they got into very bad habits. They were eating meat, and they were drinking alcohol. And as you know, drinking alcohol is one of the 5 biggest sins. So their bodies were Brahmin, but their actions were demonic. And so they were so when you are in a very tamasic environment, or you create a tamasic environment around yourself, you don't like to hear the name of God. Then you want to hear just worldly things, and you have different kind of music you want to listen to. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu's devotees would mercifully go into the streets and chant the name of God, Jagai and Madhai did not like it. And when the devotees did not listen and they kept on chanting, Jagai and Madhai, they threw something at the devotees, and that caused one great devotee, Haridas, to become injured. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu came to know of this, and he became very angry, because you see, he is God, and God cannot tolerate his true devotees being disrespected and insulted like this. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu immediately summoned his Sudarshan Chakra, and then he was about to sever the heads of Jagai and Madhai when these two came to their senses and they fell at the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Sant Haridas intervened on their behalf and said, do not kill them, show them your mercy. You are the avatar of mercy and compassion, and put away this weapon of yours. Have pity on them. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu forgave them, and Jagai and Madhai became very, very ardent followers, disciples, and devotees of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. If our mind gets diverted during chanting, how to make sure that we can indulge in prayer from our heart and soul fully without any distraction? The mind gets diverted, so the correct question is, what do I do about it when it gets diverted? Because that is the distraction in itself. It becomes diverted. We are trying to think about Sri Radha and Krishna, and the mind is thinking about some movie or some loved one or going on a vacation or food. It goes everywhere. And what do I do at this point? So Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has said, when the mind goes away and it becomes diverted, then you just place Lord Krishna wherever the mind has gone. And that way the mind is reminded about Sri Krishna again, that, oh, I came away from him and he is here too. And then the mind goes away somewhere else, the mind starts thinking something else, and you place Lord Krishna there too, and then the mind thinks, oh, I wanted to run away from him, but he is over here too. Gradually the mind grasps the fact, the reality, that Lord Krishna is everywhere, God is everywhere. Prabhu Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. God is everywhere. So the mind will stop running. But again, there's a lot of effort that has to be put into this. You have to observe the mind all the time. The mind is not thinking about Sri Krishna now. It was thinking, but it's gone away. So then put Lord Krishna wherever the mind has gone. If it's gone to see the Eiffel Tower in Paris, then Sri Krishna is there. If it's gone to see the Taj Mahal in Agra, India, then Sri Krishna is there dancing on those shiny stones of the Taj Mahal. If the mind has gone to see the Great Wall of China, then Lord Krishna is there. No matter where the mind goes, no matter how far away it goes, Sri Krishna, the delighter of the mind, is following it. And that is so much more effective than what you and I have always heard, and that is when your mind runs away from God, you bring the mind back to God. Sri Maharaji says, no, don't bring the mind back, just take Lord Krishna wherever the mind has gone. And that works very, very effectively.
There's a question.
And now we have questions that you can ask.
भगवान ने गीता में कहा है, शीघ्रं प्रभवति परमात्मा सर्व शांति निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्त्या प्रणश्यति। इसका मतलब भगवान का भक्त का कभी नाश नहीं होता है?
हाँ, भगवान के भक्त का नाश नहीं होता, क्योंकि भगवान उसके मन में बैठ के उसको सीधे रास्ते पे कर देते हैं। तो भगवान ने एक वायदा किया है, नामे भक्ता प्रणश्यति। तो भगवान ने ये नहीं कहा नामे ज्ञानी प्रणश्यति, नामे कर्मी, नामे योगी प्रणश्यति, केवल भक्त के लिए वायदा किया है। क्योंकि भक्त मुझे पुकारता रहता है, मेरे लिए रोता रहता है, तो ये मेरा प्रण है कि मैं अपने भक्त का नाश नहीं होने दूंगा। So God says in the Gita, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that my devotee can never fall down. And he does not, Shri Krishna promises this only for the devotee, because the devotee is always seeking Shri Krishna's grace. He's always crying out to Shri Krishna. And so Shri Krishna does not say, Name Jnani Pranashyati, Name Yogi Pranashyati, Name Karmi Pranashyati. He does not offer that same protection to anyone on the other paths. Because the jnani, for instance, does not ask for God's grace. He said, I'll do it myself. But the devotee says, no, I can do nothing by myself. I am dependent. Teri kripa ka bharosa bhari, Radharani. I'm fully dependent on your grace. And so God says, I will protect my devotee. Even if he makes a mistake, eventually he comes to the right path. He starts walking on the right course because God is always inspiring him and protecting him. Please raise your hand if you have a question. How can we practically balance our worldly duties and still stay connected to Maharaji's divine message and bhakti path? We always find time to do whatever is important for us. We all know that. So it's a matter of prioritizing our devotion. That does not mean that we throw away our worldly responsibilities, but at least my spiritual responsibility is at least as important as my worldly responsibility. One who thinks this way will find time, just as he finds time to do the worldly duty, he'll find time to fulfill his spiritual duty. So I don't think it's a problem at all. The problem is that that I don't think it's important enough. That's where the real problem is. I don't think that practicing devotion and serving God and Guru, I don't think all this is very important. So I have time to eat and sleep and cook and clean and do my job, whatever the job is, but I don't have time for devotion. That simply means I don't find that devotion is very important for me. So as soon as a person becomes convinced that yes, this is the most important thing in my life, then there's so much time, samay hai. Then there's so much time that we find for devotion, because we always, always, always find time to do whatever is of interest to us and whatever we find to be important to us. After death, does the soul always get rebirth in the same universe as previously, or is a rebirth possible in a different universe as well? It is certainly possible, it's very possible that we will be born in a different universe altogether. When we are under the shelter of Sri Radha Krishna, should we care or worry about dead relatives, or just believe Mangal Bhavan has done good to them? Yes, we are seeing that we are under the protection of Sri Radha Krishna. We should not worry about our family members who have passed away, because no matter how much we love them, so-called love them, we have to understand that Sri Krishna loves them infinitely more. And He is the one they came from, He is the one they have returned to, so we should not worry about them. Rather, we should visualize that Sri Krishna has them with Him, and He is, let's say someone is very concerned about a very close family member who has died, who has passed away. So do this Roop Dhyan, that Sri Krishna is holding my loved one so tightly, He's embracing my loved one very tightly, and my loved one is smiling, beaming with happiness, being embraced by Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna is saying to me, do not worry, don't worry, I have him. I have him with me, I have her with me. So we should not worry, we should trust Sri Krishna. Is death predestined? Yes, death is predestined. The exact moment of death is predestined, and no one can change that. Sometimes people talk about untimely death, but they call someone young dies, people say, oh, he died, his death was untimely. But actually there's no such thing as untimely death. death always happens on time, and God does not make a mistake. And if one is meant to die, then no matter how many doctors are consulted, no matter how much treatment one is given, one will die. And if one is meant to live, then he will live no matter the lack of medical attention will not matter at all, because he will live. So the exact moment of death is predestined. Our preachers of Kripaluji Maharaj saints, too, Maharajji himself said, no. I had asked on behalf of someone who had wanted to know about one of the preachers of Maharajji. Maharajji is so-and-so, God realized. And I had translated that into Hindi, and I had written a letter to Maharajji. And Maharajji had then said, and Maharajji had given the answer, that my preachers, my pracharaks, are not God realized. They're speaking my philosophy. So I wish I could say we are, but no, we're not. According to Maharajji, so I don't want to say, I should say only for myself, but Sri Maharajji himself said, my pracharaks, so I can say, Maharajji said to about everyone, no. Maharajji said, they're speaking my philosophy. Sometimes, क्या सेवा का भी अहंकार होता है? क्यों नहीं होता? अरे जो सेवा मैंने की है, देखने लायक है. जो सेवा मैं करता हूँ, मैं करती हूँ, क्या बात है? भगवान भी impressed हो गए. Definitely we can become proud of our seva, and it defeats the purpose. The seva has to be done with utmost humility, but yes, because we are under the control of Maya, and we can and do become proud of even the seva that we do. It's very, very, very easy to fall into that trap. So again, we have to be very watching ourselves very carefully. Am I becoming proud that I'm doing this seva? And we have to watch out for that. How do I get away from Maya and bad thoughts despite doing Nam Jap and Rup Dhyan? I intend to help myself, but fall in guilt and trap of Maya. So how do I help myself? How do I get away from Maya and bad thoughts? Right. So Rup Dhyan. Rup Dhyan is definitely the antidote. But sometimes the sadhak falls, and sometimes we fall, and then we don't have a good day, and then we get trapped. But the solution is to just pick ourselves up again and keep going. So there'll be bad days, but there'll be good days as well. And whoever wrote this knows that, you all know, there are good days and there are bad days. So when the bad days are there, that's like you've fallen off the bicycle. You're riding a bike and you've fallen off, so you just have to dust yourself off, get back on the bike and keep going. You should not stop. So just keep doing Rup Dhyan, keep on working internally, working on your mind, and God and Guru are with you to help you. Sometimes you don't have so many good experiences with devotees. What are some practical tips to still think positive and have good relationships with devotees? Sometimes when you don't have good experience with a sadhak, with a fellow devotee, then think that, my Guru is testing me through this person, or I wonder what this person is going through. I think we have to have compassion. What is this person going through? Maybe he said something to me, and she behaved with me in a way that I didn't want her to behave with me. So what is this person going through? I believe that compassion is a big thing. So we should be compassionate and think, what is this person going through? Why is this person being so difficult? We'll say, oh, yeah, she's so difficult. But why is she difficult? What is she going through? See if you can help this person. And again, don't mind the behavior of that person. Just think of it as a test, because if everything is just hunky-dory, everything is perfect, then you're not being tested, are you? We're not being tested if everything is good. So I think, Thakurji just instigates some mischief. You you do this mischief, and you give this one a hard time. So just think, oh Shri Krishna, or oh my Gurudev, I know what you're doing. You're trying to test me, and I will pass this test. How do we overcome daily stress with spirituality? The daily stress is managed very well when we do our devotions, our karma sannyas sadhana, karma yoga sadhana. When we do that, then our stress is managed very nicely with that. It's just a natural result, byproduct of devotion. Being free of stress is a natural byproduct of doing devotion. Because then we internalize the reason, why am I stressed out? Think about it, why am I stressed? Well, I think this may happen, I may fail, or maybe this will not work out. Okay, so then what will happen? All right, and then accept the inevitable. Maybe this will happen, maybe I will lose my job. Okay, then is it the end of the world? No. Are God and Guru no longer with me if I don't have a job, or if I fail? Are they going to abandon me? No. So will I have God and Guru with me? Yes. No need to be stressed. So we have to talk to the mind. Besides doing devotion, when stress comes in, then you address it head on and say, and think, why am I stressed? What is the reason behind this? And I said to one of the satsangis, and she said, we're really, my husband and I are very stressed. And I said, why? The business is going south. And I said, what are you really stressed about? Do you think you'll be out on the streets? No, it's not that bad. Do you think you have to leave this house? No. Then what? But just that we will not have as much money as before. And so will you manage? Yes, we'll manage. We might have to move out of this house, but you will not be out on the streets? No. Will you have 3 square meals to eat every day? Yes. Can you afford the kids' education? Yes. Then there's no problem. So we have to talk to ourselves, and our mind is on automatic pilot a lot. It just gets stressed out, and you think, why am I stressed? So figure out why you're stressed, and like I said, address that stress, and give your stress an answer, and chase it away. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. We have a Zoom session with Didis. Do we? Just like, can we do it like that? Can we do it like this? Okay. So just for those of you who may not be aware, Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, or Gurudev, his daughters are Didis. They are very merciful in that they give us darshan through Zoom sessions. So this is the time for their Zoom session. We will try to get through, and we will have their darshan. And while we do that, I think somebody's doing Kirtan. You can come, Mohini, you can.